Coke has its Diet Coke, Pepsi has Diet Pepsi, and the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2, they have the Pixel Buds 2a. In this review, I really want to answer two questions. One, are the Pixel Buds 2a the best earbuds for Pixel users? And two, if you don't own a Pixel, should you even bother? Let's start on the outside. The Pixel Buds 2a are glossy earbuds that have a rounded exterior. The ear tip does not have a nozzle that extends into the ear, instead relying on only the sleeve to make a seal with your ear canal. On the back is a rubbery semicircle that will push against your outer ear in order to hold the earbuds in place, but it isn't capable of putting a ton of pressure on your ears. You know, exactly the same size and shape as the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2. I guess those are matte instead of glossy, but the point still stands! Some people may feel these earbuds are going to fly out at any moment, especially because they're so small. However, the earbuds are secure enough in my ears that I can headbang with them. If yours do fall out, there are 4 included sizes of ear tips to try. Just use the ear tip seal test in the app to make sure the fit is good enough for your use. These earbuds are especially well suited to people who have smaller ears, long hair, thick long hair, bounce from place to place a lot, have a heavy gait, are smaller themselves, or just have a sensitive ear canal. If you've had bad troubles with earbuds in the past, designs like the ones offered by the Google Pixel Buds 2a make the most of their squishy parts to meet your ears. But you gotta hand it to them, these earbuds are so small. How small are they? Thank you. These earbuds are so small that I'm going to tell the parents out there that they look just like Smarties. I mean, seriously, they look like candy-coated chocolates, and batteries aren't something I want my youngest chowing down on at Halloween. Gym rats will appreciate the IP54 Ingress protection rating, meaning the earbuds can handle a direct splash and varying levels of dust, and the case can handle a spray or two without getting cooked. The windscreen ahead of each microphone array also does a decent job of keeping a gale from ruining your day. Truly, these are earbuds that are actually made for the outside world. The charging case doesn't offer wireless charging, nor does it act like a transmitter like some other models do. In fact, I really don't like this charging case anymore, as it's very easy to put the earbuds in the wrong way, thus not charging your buds. Be sure to align the windscreens to the bottom to avoid this. As I mentioned before, the Pixel Buds 2a are significantly pared down from the Pixel Buds Pro 2, but there are a few things that are still the same. For example, the super wideband microphone, Tensor A1 chip, and touch controls, to name a few. The only difference here being that there are no gesture controls, you can only tap. You know, not a huge deal. The app has a vaguely labeled 5-band EQ, which sucks, but it allows broadband adjustments to your sound, and the inclusion of live Gemini interaction is a reasonably attractive feature if your voice assistant just isn't cutting it. Sadly, like several other models of earbuds, many of the best parts of the Pixel Buds 2a are locked to its native platform, in this case, the Pixel series of phones. It's very frustrating for anyone who's followed the history of Google's hardware, first from the Nexus phones and then to the Pixel replacements, as these pieces of hardware were meant to showcase unadulterated Android experiences. So, with the Pixel Buds, we figured, okay, these are going to be earbuds specifically designed for Android. Wrong! The Pixel Buds Pro 2 and Pixel Buds 2a very much need a Pixel phone. Features like the super wideband microphone need this hardware and will not work with other phones that you could have that might theoretically support the feature with their hardware. That sucks. It sucks when Apple does it, it sucks when Samsung does it, and it sucks when Google does it. I get why it happens when a feature relies on hardware, but come on, dude, seriously? As these are relatively inexpensive earbuds, it should not shock you to learn that the Pixel Buds 2a connect to devices over Bluetooth 5.4 over SBC and AAC with no higher bitrate codecs. The Bluetooth version indicates that LC3 should be available here, although it's not spelled out explicitly that the earbuds support this, but I can't think of a reason why they wouldn't. As far as stability goes, the earbuds are fine. I didn't run into many issues. What issues I did run into generally had to do with multi-point and decidedly pre-production firmware. After we got the real thing, those bad Larrys didn't have any issues. The Google Pixel Buds 2a aren't getting any longevity records, as they can only last about 6 hours and 46 minutes on a single charge with ANC on. Though these earbuds offer decent battery life, it could be better, but it's fine. For context, offerings like the Nothing Ear 3 offers 5 hours and 12 minutes, and Sony WF-C710N offers 9 hours and 25 minutes respectively on a single charge. Like I said, it's fine. Not great, but fine. Now, Google made a big to-do about having the battery of the charging case of the Pixel Buds 2a be replaceable. However, I disagree with that word. Now, I'm not saying you can't access the battery and take it out. What I'm saying is that currently you can't actually replace it. First, you need extra tools to open up the battery case in the first place. You have to locate the 2 screws on the inside of the charging case underneath where the earbuds sit. Then you stick your fingernail underneath the gap and pull out the charging case from the actual shell. Finally, you can depress the tab on the bottom and pull out the battery using the green paper tab. The second reason why I say these aren't currently repairable is because you can't actually get a replacement battery. The one that ships is the one you're stuck with. Though it's possible Google is going to fix this in the future, we don't know for sure that that's going to happen or it's going to be commercially available to people at a reasonable price. Microphone performance is a little tough to contextualize because it's locked to a platform, so I'll approach this a little differently. If you have a Pixel phone and you use the super wideband mic, you're going to notice that your call quality depends heavily on the client and network you're using. Sometimes video calls will be perfectly fine one moment, then decide there's noise in your signal that must be aggressively destroyed, leading to a drop in call quality. Sometimes this is unpredictable with wideband signals like that of the Pixel Buds 2a, but at its own merits, without this feature, the microphone and processing is decent. Additionally, the windscreens are effective enough at keeping those little bits of turbulence out from killing a call. But if you'd like to hear how these earbuds handle a standardized set of conditions, click on through the full review below. Attenuating an average of about 76% of outside noise's loudness, the Google Pixel Buds 2a have okay ANC, but they don't have the best isolation. Because of a rather pronounced gap in noise attenuation around 5 kHz, you'll notice that some outside sounds come right on through clear as a bell, which is strange, but intentionally or not, it is useful. For example, the sound of dropping your keys, shattering glass, your kids throwing a baseball at the TV, a car crashing nearby, can all still be heard, though not as loud. Only one of those is a joke, the rest did actually happen. That said, the ANC unit does a fair job of keeping outside noise at bay, averaging around 20 decibels up to 2 kHz, where the isolation, or lack thereof, dominates the noise attenuation profile here. This performance is good enough for flights, it's good enough for commutes, it's good enough for most things. Just because it doesn't dominate a leaderboard doesn't mean the ANC isn't good, it's just not what you'd want if you were piloting a small prop plane, which I think we can all agree. Most people don't do that. I'm going to have to stick up for the Pixel Buds 2a here. Not only is this a natural trade-off of the design, but it's also just not that safe to be unable to hear everything around you when you're on the street. And when you put earbuds in your head, do you really want to be adjusting settings constantly, or do you want to set it and forget it? Google's design ethos is very much in the latter category, and I get it. I, too, would prefer people hear important sounds necessary for survival before getting pasted by a cement truck or starting their ultra-contrived paint-by-numbers anime adventure. It's a joke, okay? Anime fans, I learned my lesson with the Moondrop Space Travel review. All right, take a breath. For anyone who really wanted the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2, the Pixel Buds 2a are really quite similar in the sound quality department. There's a similar level of bass emphasis, the exact same weird highs, and participation trophy EQ presets. There's no audible distortion, but the weird highs do lend themselves to odd behavior. For example, loud sounds with a really busy high end can sometimes boost squeaking and screeching sounds over the rest of your music, making tracks like Dan Deacon's True Thrush unlistenable. Doesn't happen often, but it is possible. I'd recommend these earbuds more for people who prefer R&B, jazz, classical, classic rock, anything made in the vinyl era, let's just say not metal and not punk. There, that covers it. The sound quality otherwise isn't bad, it's just boring. But in sound, boring is good. It means there's not much to talk about that would annoy the crap out of you. But let's dig into that odd response a little more. Flipping over to the objective measurements, we can see the typical bass shelf offered by mass market earbuds, along with decent mids. Good job, Google. But then we get to the highs, and that's where things get a little weird. I'm not sure why the 1 to 5 kHz region has that underemphasis, but I should point out that a lot of people think that our headphone preference curve, seen here in pink, is light on this region to begin with. So dropping lower than our curve and then having such a huge spike at 7 kilohertz is going to make that region stick out like a sore thumb. Proverbially. I mean, don't stick shit in your ears. It's bad for you. It's no wonder I had a hard time listening to songs with a lot of content in this band because it's just so much louder than the rest of the track. So yeah, if you have Wavelet or another app that offers a parametric EQ, just touch down 7 kilohertz by a Q of, I don't know, 2.5 by about 4 or 5 decibels, and you should be well on your way to better sounding earbuds. Also, bump 2.5 kilohertz up with a wideband, 2 to 3 decibels. You don't need to get too exact here. So, I'm going to hit my 2 questions from earlier. 1, if you're looking for a set of dead simple earbuds and you have a newer Pixel phone, the Google Pixel Buds 2a are it. I mean, it's kind of hard to get more direct than that. $129 versus $229. That's an easy buy if you're okay with ditching some of the premium features, like wireless charging, gesture control. You get the idea. But if you don't own a newer Pixel phone, the world is your oyster. There's so much out there that is decent and relatively frustration-free that you should keep looking unless these earbuds scream to you or something. For $129, the earbuds aren't a bad buy, even if they're a little weird in some ways. $100 less than the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2, the 2As may sound like a convincing buy for people in the Pixel ecosystem that blew their entire budget on the latest phone, and most will be none the wiser. But if you've heard the name Google Pixel Buds Pro 2 too many times without understanding what these earbuds are, why don't you click on over here to see my review of the more expensive Google earbuds. And as always, happy listening.